Y'all please run that back. Run this clip back, man. I done sat up here and laughed at this clip for about 2 minutes now, man. Oh, man, I just keep replaying this, y'all. Check this out, man. But it's the truth, man. It's the truth, you know? Oh.
Think that you are soft selling the more fundamental aspect of people viewing somebody who, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't know of a job interview that you could have gone on and delivered the performance that was delivered by Joe Biden and gotten a job. And I'm not talking about the presidency. I'm talking about like cashier at Home Depot, like a job that you would not think, okay, that is the hardest job in the entire world.
Man, fella can't even get a cashier job, boy. But hey, he's the 81 million votes. It was a cheap fake, a deep fake. 81 million votes.
And I'm not talking about the presidency. I'm talking about like cashier at Home Depot, like a job that you would not think, okay, that is the hardest job in the entire.
Y'all clap it up for John. Y'all clap it up for John, man. Everybody clap it up. Clap it up for John. This is going to be an amazing video, I promise you. Clap it up for John. Y'all actually hit that like button, man, for John. Hit that like, because we are back with common ground, man. We are back, man. A lot of people are coming out and they're just starting to make a lot of sense. Yeah, Trump is the 47th president of the United States. We are so back. I hope y'all ready, man. I really do hope y'all are ready.
Let's go to a specific example that I think proved really detrimental during the election for the Democrats, and that is the border. It's pretty clear that the border was a real problem in terms of security and the pressure it was putting on not just those border communities, but all kinds of other areas with the amount of people coming in. The administration had the ability to do something in a pretty agile and urgent way through executive action. And they kept saying, well, if they put something in front of my desk, I'll sign it. Or the parliamentarian says I can't do, and they've got all these reasons. And I always think of this as this is Washington. It's rules, it's loopholes, and it's norms. If you don't want to do something, it's complex enough. There's always a rule that tells you that you don't have to do it. But there's always a loophole if you really do want to do it. And there's always a norm where you can shake your finger at somebody for doing it. They let that border situation fester for 2 years and ultimately just did the thing that they could have done 2 years earlier. And didn't that show people, wait, so the government could do it, they just didn't?
Yup.
Oh, and we gotta play this one. When he speaks on MSNBC Morning, Joe and Mika going down to Mar-a-Lago after Trump won. Check this one out.
Joe and Mika going down there might be one of my favorite when they had to come out and go, and so we did. Like they spent the year going, this man will destroy all that you hold dear. He is a Hitler Mussolini cocktail mix. And we must all say, literally 1 week later, they're like, so we go, we have lunch, a light lunch. I get the watercress salad, and you know Joey. He loves shrimp fra diavolo. So he, and the Mar-a-Lago shrimp fra diavolo is delicious. I thought that was one of the more remarkable, but it shows the performative nature of so much of all of this shit, which is, again, when you talk about credibility, like, Joe and Mika going down there might be one.
But boy, oh boy, shout out to them beautiful patriots around the world, man. I couldn't wait to get into this one, y'all. I'm telling you, man. What do y'all think of John, man? Comment down below. There's actually tons of people that have considered him to be president. They have recommended him to be president. We've seen that a lot too. What do y'all think of Jon Stewart, man? Comment down below right now. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Because we have fun, man. We keep it real. We don't sugarcoat it. We keep you guys updated. Let you know what's going on, what's popping. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to continue to put in a lot of hard work. We're going to continue to do an amazing job, y'all. You know, we are going to continue to fight. Because the fight is not over. It's never over, man. You know, but we hope everybody has an amazing month of December. Merry Christmas. That we end the year off on a positive, strong note. And have an amazing, happy New Year's, man. January 20th can't get here any faster. Any faster. But let's go and jump into the rest of this video, man. This is gonna get real good, y'all. Real good. Let's jump in.
Exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, now this is an interesting video. I got a clip here of Jon Stewart signaling his frustration, or I'd say it's probably even jealousy at the idea that Trump won, and he won this last election with a mandate to reform government. Little left-wing propagandist Jon Stewart seems frustrated. He seems jealous as he makes the claim that now Donald Trump and Elon Musk are supposedly going into government to enact all kinds of reforms and make the government more efficient. He's signaling his frustration and jealousy because the people that he opposes and that he doesn't trust and doesn't like are now going into government to do the things that he and his progressive buddies have, quote, always wanted to do. I find that so interesting, but mostly hypocritical. Now, apparently Trump and Elon Musk, the two individuals that he and his left-wing ilk in the media have attacked and demonized for so long, first off, are supposedly doing something great that he and his progressive buddies have always wanted to do. I find that interesting. But secondly, I find his confusion and frustration that the other side is doing the thing that he always wished that his party would do. I find this stance to be so naive and so frankly out of touch. You mean to tell me that you and your friends, your political party that's enabled the establishment, enforced the status quo for so long, you're confused that it's the other side coming in with anti-establishment reforms? These left-wingers, man. I mean, we got to expose them to a little bit of reality here. Let me show you guys this Jon Stewart clip and let's really attack the ideas here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so pretty much the clip is as I described. Take a look at this.
It must be such a strange thing. It is for me, for someone who has kind of complained about wanting government to be more efficient and more responsive and making fundamental changes, to see that mantle being carried out by a group of people that I don't necessarily trust to do it in a manner. That is, but I guess that's what it is that's what losing elections is, man. You don't get to dictate anymore. You don't get to say, well, what if we did it this way? That's the beauty of it. This is in the joint custody agreement that we now have in America. It is, I guess the kids they're going to live with dad for the summer and you just got to eat it. Just, I don't want them going on the lake in the raft. And you're like, well, you're not here. You're not in charge. So you
don't have a say-so.
Get to decide. And that's a tough one.
Jon Stewart seems mad. I mean, he seems big mad in this recent interview where he expresses his frustration over the idea that Donald Trump and the MAGA movement are now positioning themselves to make reforms that supposedly progressives have dreamed about for decades. Yeah, progressives have dreamed about government efficiency for decades. Okay, that's an interesting one. But now, all of a sudden, Trump's going in to do all of these things that we have wanted to do. Why aren't we the ones doing them, he asks. Really? You're confused? You're jealous? But I'm asking myself the question, where has this feeling been, this outrage and this frustration, this fear of missing out over the last 16 years? Has it already been 16 years? Yeah. I mean, since 2008, the left has held the reins of American political culture. Barack Obama promised hope and change. We all remember that, right? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have been in power for the last 4 years, and they were supposedly going to deliver all kinds of progressive reforms with their Democrat Congress. But what did they do? Nothing of substance for actual working class Americans. Nothing. Instead, they cozied up to the establishment, the corporate donors, and of course, big tech. John, you've had 12 of the last 16 years to do something. You've had 12 of the last 16 years as one of the biggest voices in left-wing politics to try to steer the conversation in the direction of policy reform and government efficiency, but instead all you've done is attack Republicans and play Mr. Comedian. And now you're confused why you're not in the driver's seat. Meanwhile, the
Mr.
MAGA
Comedian. Yeah, we had some good laughs with old John, man. We did. You know, we had a good time this election cycle with this fella here. You know, tons of our videos got blocked and copyrighted, and we had to beat around the bush and add a little extra editing and, you know, changing things up. But he had a lot of viral. I think after everything that took place and he commented on and said something on it, it went viral. You know, when it came to his show. So yeah, he played a huge part in this election as well. Brother John. Yeah. We want to thank you. We want to thank you, Mr. Comedian. We want to thank you.
movement, the movement that you've attacked and slandered for so long, well, that's an actual grassroots movement of the people born out of frustration with corruption, government overreach, and bureaucratic waste. That is the grassroots movement pushing for reforms. And the irony here is that the left, the self-proclaimed party of the people, is now angry and jealous because the people they've dismissed as deplorables are actually doing what they've failed to do. Or at least they're on the path of doing it. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. These people have their eyes closed and their ears blocked. I mean, let's just take a look at the track record here. We've got 3 names: Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, and RFK Jr. I mean, let's just go with Bernie Sanders, who's the more far-left progressive outsider who bursted on the scene back in 2016, promoting a more populist left-wing message. You know, the guy who wanted to reform government in probably Jon Stewart's exact progressive image. Well, what happened with him? He was twice sabotaged by the Democrat Party elite. In 2016 and in 2020, the DNC essentially manipulated the primary process to ensure that he would never win and that his ideas would never be popularized. Tulsi Gabbard, same thing, a decorated military veteran and former Democrat congresswoman who came in challenging the status quo, especially on the issue of the military-industrial complex. Well, she was attacked by her own party and labeled a Russian asset and essentially forced out of the party. Then we've got RFK Jr., who was forced to run as an independent after the Democrat Party openly worked to prevent a fair primary. Instead of engaging in a debate and having a fair democratic process, they rewrote the rules to essentially sideline him and pushed him out of the party. You know, these are the people who dared to step out of line, and the Democrat establishment did everything in its power to crush them. Essentially, whenever the Democrat Party has political leaders pushing reforms and challenging the status quo, they are destroyed, and talking heads like Jon Stewart and the rest of these clowns in the left-wing lamestream media never do or say anything about it. It seems almost as if they cheer it on or they enable it, and then they're confused why they're not the party of reform. No, you're the party of the elites. You're the party of the Washington status quo. You're the party of endless government waste and spending and laundering taxpayer dollars, not the party of government efficiency and making cuts to wasteful spending. No, you're the party who puts the wasteful pork spending in the bill, and then when Republicans vote against it, because you named it the "we want to save all the puppies in Gaza" bill, you're the ones who point the finger at the other side and call them a bunch of Zionist shill puppy murderers. They didn't vote for our pork-filled bill. They're racist. And now they're sitting here whining and crying. Why aren't we the ones who get to reform government? Why can't we reform government? We want to make government efficient again.
Just can't make it
it's
up,
because
man.
you lost. You're on the losing team. You've sided with the establishment types, the establishment status quo types, the corrupt Washingtonites. You've essentially made your bed. You've gotten married to them. And now what? You're asking for a divorce? I think it might be a little too late. And honestly, I don't think it's genuine at all. I don't think leftoids would ever have it in them to actually make cuts and make actual efficient change in government and bureaucracy. They're just pretending as if they would and as if they're the right people for the job because it's now politically convenient and easy to do so. This isn't genuine frustration. Darn, shucks. We didn't get our chance to cut wasteful government programs. The left's anger here is not about reform, it's about control. They're mad because they lost their monopoly on the narrative. And now you got Trump, Musk, and the MAGA movement showing that real change is possible and that real change is coming. And they just want to jump on the bandwagon. They just want credit. They're just salty that they don't get to take the credit, that they're not the ones doing it. But in my view, they're just exposing themselves as the enablers of the very system that they're pretending to fight against. It's very simple. The grassroots mantle no longer belongs to the Democrats. MAGA now owns it. And the left is just salty because that means their cultural power is essentially now diminished. You guys had your chance to bring change, to bring reforms, to make people's lives better, to make government more efficient. You failed. And now please stop whining about it. And now, well, it's Donald Trump and Elon Musk's turn. I guess let's see what's gonna happen. Anyways, that's...
You failed. You lied. Lie after lie after lie. Yeah. You said, oh, it's closed. It's safe. The Bidenomics is working. We're doing such an amazing job. He's as sharp as a tack. I mean, and our president is very, very sharp. He fell asleep. No, he did not fall asleep. That was a cheap fake. That was AI edited. He fell down. No, he didn't. That was a deep fake. That was bigger than a cheap fake. It was a deep fake. But do you want me to show it to you? He clearly fell down. And I seen this on CNN and on MSNBC. They played it live on air. No. I wrote it down in my binder that it is a cheap fake, a deep fake. And that is false. That is actually misinformation. And that Trump is a threat to democracy and he is Hitler. And that's that. Yeah. How did that go for him, you know? Yeah, boy. But you got the Jon, you pull out that popsicle, you got to lick that popsicle, you know? That's what I say. Cause eventually the popsicle starts to melt. Yeah. You know how I was raised, but we were raised with common sense and right from wrong, and you make that bed, you got to lay in that bed. And just little kids, growing up, we piss the bed. And sometimes we had to lay in that piss. Yeah. Just telling y'all, man. And I'm glad we grew out of that. It took like 1 or 2 years. Was it 1 or 2, 3 years? Yeah, 1 or 2, 3 years. But we had some of those nights. We pissed the bed, get up, cleaned it up, and it still be more piss on the bed. And guess what? You got to lay in that piss sometimes. Sometimes you lay in the bed, then pissed everywhere, and you don't even know that you're laying in piss. And you wake up and it's piss. That's how it is, Democrats. That's how it is. MAGA is here. Them Patriots is here now. Them Republicans are here. I hope y'all ready.